lead at the hour mark, and even though Cristiano Ronaldo pulled one back, it wasn't enough as Portugal went down 1-2. A win for Bosnia against France would have earned them a place in the finals, but wasn't enough to be as they played out a scrappy draw as Les Blues ended top of Group D. The Bosnians went ahead thanks to a superb strike from Edin Dzeko, but a late Samir Nasri penalty meant France shared the points. The Euro 2008 winners, Spain, defeated Scotland 3-1 in their final qualifier on Tuesday. A first-half brace from David Silva and a third from him again, in fact, sealed the win for the Spaniards. It was a heartbreak for the Scots, though, as a defeat does mean that they will now be missing out on the playoff spot. Well, then, as we head into the tail end of Sports Corner this evening, up next, of course, is Ground Zero, where we investigate a cover-up most foul, the botched-up investigation in the murder case of RTI activist Shehla Masood. Now then, we are coming to an end of this edition of Sports Corner, but I'll leave you with something very interesting. Red Bull might have won the Formula 1 Drivers' Championship, but that hasn't stopped the team from taking their car to new heights. And that's what they did, quite literally, when the Red Bull F1 car was driven all the way up to Ladakh in the highest motorable pass in the world. Enjoy these.
It's an incredible privilege for us to host the Red Bull team as they attempt to get their Formula 1 car to the top of Khardungla, the highest motorable road in the world, crossing 18,500 feet.
It's been a hard way up, it's been a long way, but we've made it. Everyone has done a great job and helped me to get up here to be the first racing driver in a Formula 1 car up here.
A perfect murder or a perfectly botched up investigation. Headlines today spent a fortnight in Bhopal to get to the bottom of the Shehla Masood whodunit. And tonight we expose how Shehla Masood's autopsy was tweaked.
That question is under the investigation. Because I didn't commit to any channel or anybody that it was like that. You are suggesting. But if somebody asks, is there a possibility of this or that, so how can we rule out any possibility till the investigation is complete?
Usually directors करते हैं ऐसे पोस्टमार्टम वो ज़्यादातर है ना ऐसे केस में जहाँ हम लोगों को इन्वॉल्व नहीं करना वो हम लोग को नहीं बोलते पहले भी एक सुल्तानिया का केस हुआ था तो उसमें भी उन्होंने मुझे हटा दिया गया था
We expose the investigation most foul.
इस तरह का रहन सहन था इस तरह की उसकी एक्टिविटी थी तो एक दिन उसका परिणाम ये होना ही
We for the first time reveal the face of the man who might have seen the killers.
हम रोड के ऊपर खड़ा था तो गाड़ी के साथ दो लड़के साथ मोटरसाइकिल.
This is a Headlines Today special investigation.
Almost 2 months after she was found dead in her car, Shehla Masood's death still remains a mystery. Her post-mortem should have given the most trusted and reliable scientific insight into what happened that fateful day. All it did was point to a suicide. Headlines Today's investigation reveals that the autopsy was done in a tearing hurry. The doctors on duty performed all autopsies that day except one, that of Shehla Masood, from which they were deliberately kept out. Headlines Today exposes the post-mortem botch-up.
Bhopal's Medico-Legal Institute. This is where Shehla Masood's body was brought for a post-mortem on August 16. There were 2 doctors on duty on the fateful day. Medical officers Dr. Neelam Srivastav and Dr. Kelu Girwal. As Dr. Girwal took casual leave, she was replaced by junior forensic specialist Dr. Geeta Rani Gupta. But the director in charge of forensics, Dr. T.S. Batkur, carried out the autopsy himself. Dr. Geeta and Dr. Neelam were deliberately kept out. A fact confirmed to headlines today by Dr. Neelam herself.
अच्छा, और जब तक शैला का फॉर्म आया था तो आपने कितने पोस्टमार्टम कर लिए थे? उस समय मैंने 7 पोस्टमार्टम कर लिए थे और फिर उसके बाद के भी 5 मैंने ही किए, 11 पोस्टमार्टम मैंने किए। और जब फॉर्म आया वो तो फिर डॉक्टर बरकुर ने किया ना फिर। अच्छा, तो यूजुअली डायरेक्टर करते हैं ऐसे पोस्टमार्टम करना है? वो ज्यादातर है ना ऐसे केसों में जहाँ हम लोगों को इन्वॉल्व नहीं करना, वो हम लोग को नहीं बोलते। पहले भी एक सुल्तानिया का केस हुआ था तो उसमें भी उन्होंने मुझे हटा दिया गया था, जबकि वो फीमेल थी और वो जो डॉक्टर केलू गिरवाल उस दिन थी भी नहीं, वहाँ पे मौजूद भी नहीं थी, फिर भी उससे साइन कराकर, क्योंकि एक फीमेल डॉक्टर चाहिए थी, तो उसमें मेरे को ना लेते हुए उन्होंने ना डॉक्टर केलू को ले लिया, जबकि वो मौजूद भी नहीं थी वहाँ पे, और उसे साइन करा दिए, जबकि उसने पोस्टमार्टम देखा भी नहीं था, और उसे साइन करा के दे दिए।
Intriguingly, instead of the doctors on duty, even this report was signed by a medical student, Dr. Priyamvada Kurveti, along with the director.
मेरे ख्याल से वो सेकंड ईयर या फर्स्ट ईयर में होना चाहिए। यूजुअली जब होता है तो ऐसे स्टूडेंट एक्चुअली उसके सिग्नेचर लेना तो नहीं चाहिए, क्योंकि वो तो स्टूडेंट है, और ऐसे मतलब इसमें कॉम्प्लिकेटेड केस में तो किसी सीनियर डॉक्टर को ही लेना चाहिए, ऐसे तो लेना नहीं चाहिए कायदे से। तो जब दो इतने 15 साल के एक्सपीरियंस डॉक्टर हैं वहाँ पे, तो और उनकी ड्यूटी भी है, तो और उसकी ड्यूटी भी नहीं थी, वो तो दूसरे यूनिट की है, वो तो फॉरेंसिक की है, वो हमारे यहाँ की है भी नहीं।
It is obvious I've come for Shehla's case.
Dr. Batkur lost no time in suggesting that it's a case of suicide. He still stands by that analysis.
Trying to understand the background first, and then like various things, lot of things have been raised. Like for instance, in the post-mortem report only, like it was about how it could be a self-inflicted injury. So
that question is one of the investigation, because I didn't commit to any channel or anybody, it was like that. You are suggesting. But if somebody asks, is there a possibility of this or that, so how can we rule out any possibility till the investigation is complete?
But experts disagree.
In this case, as far as my opinion is, suicide is highly unlikely.
We got the autopsy report carefully examined and found glaring loopholes in Batkur's analysis. Batkur's report, firearm was discharged from contact range. Experts' analysis, gunshot not fired from contact range.
Tattooing and blackening is present on the wound, which indicates that it is a close range wound, not a contact wound which has been described in the post-mortem report. As if it would have been a contact wound, the blackening, tattooing would not have been present. If I find that the manner of death and the cause of death has not been appropriately given, it should have been written that death in this case is due to shock as a result of firearm entry wound. So this is the basic difference I find, that they are written as a contact range, which I disagree, and I am saying that is a close range wound.
Batkur's report, duration of death was within 6 hours of the post-mortem. Expert analysis, the autopsy was hurried up.
If you see the time since death, it is only 6 hours. Post-mortem has been done very fast. I call it unduly haste. I think sometimes investigation should have been there. what I say that immediately the postmortem was rushed in.
The way Shehla Masood's postmortem was conducted on the ill-fated day thus suggests that there was a lot of manipulation. Why was a medical student allowed to sign the postmortem report instead of the duty doctors? And why have the factual errors not been questioned yet? With camera person Shakil Ahmed, this is Neha Dikshit for Headlines Today.
The wantonly insensitive handling of activist Shehla Masood's case goes beyond the botched-up autopsy. Rather than probing the right to information angle to the murder, the cops attacked her character to justify what had happened. On hidden camera, SHO DS Tomar launched a slanderous tirade against the dead activist. Headlines Today strongly disapproves of these remarks that reek of prejudice but must have guided the probe, at least in the initial stages. Watch this report and make your own mind up.
Comments made by police officials in this story reflect their own views and not that of the channel. Headlines Today does not endorse these comments made about RTI activist Shehla Masood.
RTI का जो है ब्लैकमेलिंग के लिए इस्तेमाल करना शुरू कर दिया। हमारे बड़े-बड़े अधिकारी हैं, पहले अच्छे संबंध बनाना, अंतरंग संबंध, और अंतरंग संबंधों को ट्रेस कराना। एक खबर ये भी है कि जो अंडरवर्ल्ड के लोग हैं, एक तो उसने उनसे संबंध बनाए, बीजेपी वालों से बहुत क्लोज संबंध थे, यहाँ तक कि अब वो आ रहा है कि विजय से किसान घूमने भी गई थी।
Even before RTI activist Shehla Masood's body was lifted from the spot, DS Thomas, station house officer, Koe Fiza Thana, had formed an opinion and pronounced his verdict. On hidden camera, he launched into a slanderous tirade against the victim, calling her an immoral woman.
जिस तरह की उसकी एक्टिविटी थी, तो एक दिन उसका परिणाम ये होना ही था। जो सुनने में आया वो यही है कि अच्छी औरत नहीं थी।
अच्छा। Thomas' prejudices reflect the police's approach towards the case. It's maybe the reason why the Madhya Pradesh police investigated only two theories initially: suicide and honor killing.
अंतरंग संबंधों को ट्रेस कराना, ये उसका सोर्स ऑफ इनकम था। तो ये हम 20 साल से चल रहा था, शादी उसने की थी। अब कोई लड़की अगर शादी नहीं करती तो क्या करेगी, या कोई आदमी शादी नहीं करेगा तो क्या करेगा, बिना उसके तो रहते नहीं, तो इसका ये सिस्टम है।
The investigating officer, instead of trying to solve the murder, appeared to justify it, even linking Shehla to underworld don Abu Salem.
कौन लोग हो सकते हैं जिनको वो इस तरीके की चीजें उनकी चल रही हैं?
जिस तरह की देसी राय का फैलाना, जिस तरह उसने राय का दुश्मनी बोल ले रखी थी, उसका असर होना ही था। 20 साल से वो कर रही थी और अब कुछ ज्यादा ही तेजी पकड़ ली थी। दूसरी तरफ उसने अपने संबंध बीजेपी के बड़े-बड़े नेताओं से भी बना लिए। कुछ ऐसा भी लग रहा था कि अस्सी टूटे वो मिलनी जा रही थी। तो एक खबर ये भी है कि जो अंडरवर्ल्ड के लोग हैं, एक तो उसने उनसे संबंध बनाए, जैसे अबू सलेम पकड़ा गया। अच्छा। और अबू सलेम जब यहाँ पकड़ा गया है, जो यहाँ उसने किया पासपोर्ट बनवाया, तो उसके मेंबर्स से यहाँ जरूर होंगे। तो ऐसे लोगों से इसे संपर्क है।
Tomar further goes on to explain the points around which the local police investigated and declares that this is a case of honor killing. Here is honor killing theory.
राहिल, पिता मसूद, मामा सोहेल और उसका मौसी का लड़का अर्श, 4 लोग हैं ये। मेरे में उस नजर से संभव कर सकते दायरे।
क्या कारण हो सकता है?
एक तो उसका लगाव हिंदुओं से।
Tomar was pointing towards her ties with BJP leaders like Tarun Vijay and Bhopal MLA Dhruv Narayan Singh, who was also the patron of Masood's NGO, Uday. The prejudice came out once again in the interrogation of Shehla Masood's assistant, Irshad. The state police's reckless attitude in following rules, procedure and law is apparent when immediately after Shehla's murder, Irshad, her office assistant, was picked up from her office and informed at least 6 hours later about her murder. Personal irrelevant questions did not end, and Irshad was released almost 24 hours later from the police station.
सवाल पूछे थे तो टोटल जो थे वो 2-3 ये सवाल थे। एक तो ये था कि उन्होंने शादी किससे करी थी। भाई मैंने कभी सुनी नहीं, ना कभी मैंने शादी होती आज मैं हूँ, ये मेरी मिसेज है या मैं हस्बैंड हूँ, तो भाई छुपाने वाली बात नहीं है। तो मैंने कहा सर मैंने तो नहीं देखा, कहला तुम्हें क्यों नहीं मालूम, तो मैं कैसे नहीं मालूम।
अरे भाई दीजिए बिल्कुल।
भाई कहला तुम्हें क्यों नहीं मालूम, तुम इतने सालों से काम कर रहे थे, ये तो तुम्हें पता होगा। तो मैंने कहा सर अगर मुझे पता होता तो फिर मुझे बताने में क्या जा रहा है। भाई उनके हस्बैंड होंगे तो वो तो ऐसे मौके पे या उसमें भाई आदमी का बुरा हो या औरत का हो तो आदमी साथ।
Shehla's sister Aisha too expressed fear that the investigators would continue character assassination instead of scientific investigation.
We were not surprised because that's the trend of the police here, because they are not well trained. They themselves come from such backgrounds, so they cannot go beyond the standards that they have set up.
The two most predominant theories that came up in the initial investigation of Shehla Masood's murder were suicide and honor killing. Various stories about her immoral behavior were planted. We need to know from the police machinery of this country that till when will they keep assassinating the character of a woman, be it in the Arushi Talwar case or in Shehla Masood's case, to find out a reason to justify her killing. With camera person Irshad Khan, this is Neha Dikshit for Headlines Today.
It was Headlines Today's investigative reporter Neha Dikshit who spent those many days in Bhopal digging out these damaging facts, and we have her with us live now to tell us more. Neha, very damaging facts throwing light on the quality of the investigations that have been conducted so far. It's only right that we should call it cover up most foul. But what's the sense that you get? Has this investigation been disfigured beyond repair already?
The 15 days that I spent there in Bhopal investigating, finding the eyewitness, meeting all kinds of people from the local state police who were involved in the investigation, the kind of statements they came up with shows their misogynist attitude, absolutely myopic, narrow-minded mindset before they started the investigation, which was absolutely prejudiced. They decided to ignore the pendant, they decided to ignore the files in the car. Secondly, it's been over 2 months now. Why has the CBI not even been able to find a witness? When I went to the slums just in front of Shehla's house, I managed to join the dots, and which is how I found Shantanu, who did find somebody standing just next to Shehla's car, which the CBI claims that nobody has yet come out and said that somebody was found on the spot of crime that day. Apart from that, in the autopsy, there are major loopholes. When we analyzed, we got the experts to analyze the report, there were major loopholes. For instance, it is mentioned that the firearm injury is a contact injury. Contact range was fired at contact range, which is not. The experts say that it is close range because there is blackening and tattooing present. Moreover, the dimensions of the blackening and the tattooing are not present, which are very important in calculating the distance between the firearm and the body.
Yeah.
Shiv.
Well, these are extremely damaging facts that we've brought out in this investigation, Cover Up Most Foul, here on Ground Zero. Thanks, Neha, for bringing us those facts and making sense of just the kind of damage that has already been done to this investigation. The story obviously doesn't end here. We will confront the authorities, the investigating authorities, with these facts that Headlines Today has unilaterally been able to dig up. Obviously, the investigating agencies aren't doing their job. But up next, we locate the man. The cops have been unable to find the man who was standing at the T-point right across Shehla Masood's house around the time she was murdered. That's next on Ground Zero. Stay with us. You're back on Cover Up Most Foul here on Ground Zero. Shehla Masood was shot in the neck at point-blank range while sitting in her car outside her residence in Bhopal. The time was 11:30 a.m., yet no one saw anything, no one heard anything. Even the CBI's 5 lakh rupee reward hasn't made the elusive eyewitness or people with any information actually come forward. Headlines Today set out to look for clues on its own. For 10 days, we visited slums right outside Shehla's house, right opposite where her car was parked, and we found a man who says he saw 2 men on a bike on that fateful day.
मगर ये हैरानी की बात नहीं कि आवाज भी नहीं आई, किसी ने देखा भी नहीं, कोई विटनेस है।
ये आम रोड है जी, इस पे हर 1 मिनट में 15-20 गाड़ियां निकल जाती हैं, लोग निकल जाते हैं जी। ये इसका घर है, यहाँ मकान है जी, यहाँ मकान है जी, ये बगल मकान है, ये मकान है जी, ये पीछे से ऐसे निकल जाती है, यहाँ मकान है, यहाँ मकान, सब जगह मकान जी। ये स्थान जहाँ ये गाड़ी खड़ी थी, जहाँ इसकी लाश मिली थी गाड़ी के अंदर दरवाजे के सामने जी जी, ये विजुअल है हर जगह से, सब जगह से हजारों निगाह आंखें भी इसमें लग सकती हैं।
1,000 eyes must watch this house at any point in time. At least this much DS Tomar, SHO in charge, Koe-Fiza police station, admits. But he still found no eyewitnesses.
हमारी इन्वेस्टिगेशन में हमने जो बयान दिए हैं करीब 50-60 लोगों के आसपास के जितने लोग हैं सब रहते हैं, किसी ने भी घटना के संबंध में कोई बात नहीं बताई, किसी प्रकार की किसी ने देखा हो, भागते देखा हो, जाते देखा हो, इनके घर में क्या हो रहा है ये भी नहीं बताया।
Finding it odd, we pried further, and then Sub-Inspector Prakash gave us a crucial lead. Posted at the Koe-Fiza police station, Prakash was among the first to visit the crime scene.
और गवाहों का कोई वो नहीं,
गवाहों का तो कोई कुछ नहीं है, कोई मतलब नहीं है। वो तो क्या है कि वो डायरी मोटी करने के अलावा और कोई।
वो जो काम वाली थी,
काम वाली चली गई थी,
एक जो पानी भर रही थी बाहर,
पानी भर रही थी, उसका ये कहना कि मैं बाहर बैठी थी पहले और फिर जब तक बर्तन लेने गई उतनी देर में काम हो जाएगा। अच्छा, मेरे को कम से कम 5 मिनट लगे होंगे अंदर गई और उसने ये जरूर बताया कि गाड़ी खड़ी थी यहाँ पर, लेकिन ये नहीं देखा है कि यही गाड़ी वालों ने ऐसा कर दिया।
अच्छा।
We built on information the SI shared, speaking to countless residents of these dingy slums. This is the Juggi cluster, right opposite Shehla Masood's house. Headlines Today's Neha Dikshit kept coming to these slums for 10 days, talking to slum dwellers. On day 6, she met this woman who works as a domestic help in the area.
अभी सुनने में आ रहा था कि 2 लोग थे, दिल्ली से तो जा रहे थे कहीं पे, इन लोगों ने देखा था,
लेकिन कोई नहीं बताया मुझे। ठीक है, उनके पास में, उनके साथ में जो घर है वो लोग भी हैं, उनके घर में काम बाई कर रही है, वो लोग भी घर में थे, वो लोग नहीं बता रहे थे, निकल रहे हैं, बताएंगे। अब किसको क्या मालूम कि कौन है, क्या है, कि किसने देखा है।
Sevanti had just pointed out the right direction. It took 2 days to reach Ratnendra. He claimed his friend Shantanu is a witness to the crime.
हम रोड के ऊपर खड़ा था तो गाड़ी के साथ 2 लड़के लेकर साथ मोटरसाइकिल,
बस और कुछ नहीं देखा।
Shantanu works as a mason at a construction site at Habibganj in Bhopal. He was standing at the T-point right across Shehla's house around the time Shehla died.
Elusive eyewitnesses, which both the local police and even the CBI failed to locate for almost 2 months. The question is, if we reached him, why couldn't the local police and even the CBI, despite announcing a ₹5 lakh reward for any information? With camera person Shakil Ahmed, this is Neha Dikshit for Headlines Today.
These disturbing facts that we've put out